Hi, my name is Borys, and in this video I'm going to show you 4 amazing updates in Ableton Live 12.1. We'll go over all the most important functions of these new devices so that you can use them to your own advantage. Before we get into the video, if you like what we are doing in this channel, make sure to subscribe. We've got more content about Ableton coming up. And if you'd like to learn Live 12 with all the foundations of music production, make sure to check out the Beginner to Advanced Live 12 Start to Finish course. Make sure to also check out the Everything Bundle Collector's Edition, which includes all of the courses, sound packs and project files in our store. Alright, so let's get started. Device number 1 in Ableton Live 12.1 is going to be the drum sampler. Up until now we had the devices such as Simpler and Sampler, the drum rack which groups simplers and samplers, and Impulse. And now the new device is called Drum Sampler. Here it is. It's really simple to use. All you need to do is just drop your sample into this black area right here. So for instance, let's take a kick drum. Okay, so for example, I'm going to drag in this one. Here it is. And you can just play it just like in Simpler or Sampler with your MIDI keyboard, and you can sequence it exactly the same way. Now, here are the basic controls. You've got the start point, you've got the length, so you can cut it short. You've got gain, and this is nicely visual, so I really like that. You also have similarity search, so you can skip between samples and check for similar sounds here with these arrows. You've got simple attack controls, hold and decay. So hold is how long you want the sample to be at the maximum level. So for instance, 300 milliseconds. And you can see it cuts off, but then you can also add a decay. Of course, transposition and detune. And you also have 2 modes here. In the gate mode, it's only going to play as long as you have the MIDI coming in. And in trigger mode, it's going to play until the end, even if the MIDI note is so short. Okay, so these are the main functions. Now, all of the magic here happens in this section. This is a really nice effects module in this simplified sampler, you could say. Here we have a lot of nice effects. Just like in a lot of the Ableton Live 12 devices, they've really added lots of creative effects here. So let's go through them one by one. For each of these, there's an XY pad here, which you can control with this dot. Basically what it does is it moves these 2 knobs for you. So the first knob moves the circle up and down, and the second knob is left and right. It's probably the XY pad is here so that you can achieve some more creative sounds and just manipulate any effect in ways maybe you wouldn't have thought of with these 2 knobs only. Okay, so first of all we have stretch. You've got this lo-fi stretching like in old school samplers. It's really nice to play around with. Then we have looping. I actually prefer to play here with the knobs. Now pitch envelope, we can add more of it, but make it short, for example, to add like an attack. You've got punch. Then we also have 8-bit, which is like lo-fi processing. You've got FM, ring modulation, quite similar. Then we've got sub oscillator. Here with this kick drum is going to be very muddy. But if you've got a sample which doesn't have a sub, this is a really nice way of adding it. And then also we have noise, which I really like. Yeah, you can make your samples a bit more lo-fi, a bit warmer sounding by adding a bit of noise on top. Okay, so disabling this, we've got a filter. Pretty standard thing, different kinds of filters. Resonance control, volume, panning, velocity and volume, very important control which used to be tucked away in most of the samplers. And we also have modulation, and for example we can control the filter or for example the decay of the sample with the velocity values that are coming in. So if we just add a bit of that, then velocity is going to control the decay. And actually what I have here is a TR-808 hi-hat. Sounds like this with a straight 16th note pattern. And what I did is I applied a bit of velocity, and it's going a bit to the volume, but also 38% of it is going towards the decay. And if I now change up the velocity with the velocity MIDI device, you can hear what it does. So it's a great way of actually introducing a bit of decay variations, and it's a great way of making drum sounds sound more realistic. Just a splash of reverb on top and we have a nice hi-hat, and we can tweak these parameters. And all of the velocities here are the same. We are just introducing a bit of randomness here in this velocity MIDI device. Okay, so that would be the drum sampler. It's a really nice device, really simple to use, but it's going to be really handy for quickly throwing in a drum sample, quick processing with all the controls here readily available, and simple effects on top. I love it. Okay, so next device, we have auto shift, which is pretty much an autotune, a pitch corrector. So here we have a sample, unprocessed.
You know I can give you what you want from me, you know.
I'm enabling auto shift, and first of all, what you see in the middle is a keyboard. And here you can actually choose a scale, and it's going to affect what nodes are here. For example, C major, C sharp major, so on. But here, for example, we are just using these notes, so I've just chosen these. The other tune is quite aggressive.
You know I can give you what you want from me, you know.
And you can smooth it out also.
You know I can give you what you want.
Yeah, so the smoothing actually can make the transitions between different pitches a bit smoother. And here with the strength, you just choose how close to the scale you want to be. And this also works with Live 12 scale modes. So for example, we have C minor scale. If we click this, it just goes into C minor scale. Also, what we have in Live 12.1 is this scale mode here in the clip view of audio files. So you can actually choose the scale, for example, C minor. And now if we click here, boom, it goes back into C minor. If we change it, C Dorian, it automatically appears right here. So we can actually choose the scale right from the clip, and it's going to appear in the auto shift. But yeah, this is just not going to work because we are not using that scale. Another really cool feature of this device is MIDI input. So you can expand this view right here and click on MIDI on and choose a MIDI track. So for instance, I can disable this device and I can choose the first MIDI track. You don't actually need to have any device on this MIDI track. And let's play it without pressing anything. Okay, so as you can see, the audio goes into auto shift and then nothing. That's because we're not playing any MIDI notes. I'm just going to play the C3 note.
You know I can give you what you want from me, you know.
And this is perfect for creating some special harmonies.
You know I can give you what you want from me, you know.
And with more effects on top, just slightly in the background, this can create beautiful, beautiful harmonies. You have some basic settings here as well, but yeah, that's pretty much what MIDI input does. It just takes the pitch information from an external source. Then on the right side, we have also some basic controls. We have pitch, we can pitch it up and down, and we can also fine tune it. We have formant controls, and then form and follow. And then also what we have is shifting with scale degrees. So actually what happens is, for instance, let's choose the B minor scale.
You know I can give you what you want.
So we are here in the B minor scale. So we start on B and we go up to E. And what happens if we go, for example, 1 scale degree higher? Let's hear it.
You know I can give you what you want from me, you know.
So you can see that instead of B, we are going to C sharp. Not to C, but to C sharp, because the next scale degree from B is C sharp. And it's actually transposing all the notes accordingly. Maybe let's go to 3 scale degrees, and then let's try increasing the dry wet for a harmony.
You know I can give you what you want from me, you know.
And this works differently than pitch. So if we just increase the pitch by 3 semitones, it would sound like this.
You know I can give you what you want from me, you know.
It can give you okay results sometimes, but shifting is going to make sure that all of the notes fit the scale you're in. Now also here we have vibrato, we can add that. Or we can also add fade in. So it's more gradual, and here we have a speed control. And yeah, the last thing that we have is here in the lower left corner we have latency, and so here you can see we have 17 milliseconds of latency. If we enable live mode, it drops down to 0 milliseconds. And this is really great if you'd like, for example, a singer to have live autotune feedback. And the last thing we need to take a look at here is the LFO section. We can do some nice advanced LFO modulations, for example, to pitch. Then we can also manipulate the formants. So this can create really crazy effects. I believe these would be most of the functions of AutoShift. Okay, so let's take a look at the third device. Here we have a limiter, and it's a really refreshed approach to the limiter. I really like this update because the limiter was kind of regarded as subpar in earlier versions of Ableton, and now they've really updated it so it sounds great. In my opinion, it's better, it's more accurate, it's more flexible, and it sounds much more transparent. So let's dive in. Here we have a track which is already mastered. We are here already applied a bit of limiting, but my question is if we can apply even more limiting and when we are going to hear distortion. So let's play it. So actually let's drag a fresh instance of limiter, and I'm going to be increasing the input gain. And as you can see, it's very visual, and it responds really nicely to what we have going on. So this display used to go down all the way to minus 48 decibels, and it's not really the kind of range that is useful in this sort of limiter. They've decided to reduce it to 24 dB, but also it's not linear. So we have the first 6 decibels, which are really crucial here as like half of the entire bar, and then a lot of it is also the next 6 decibels. So first of all, the display, a really big thumbs up, and then also what we have is maximizing. So actually what we can do is just click maximize, choose the output, for example, minus half dB. I'm going to play this here at 0 so you can see the peak volume. And when we decrease the threshold, it's actually going to normalize the sound all the way back to minus 0.5 dB. So let's hear it. Even though we are losing a lot of dynamics, it still doesn't introduce much distortion, which is great. What we also have is 3 modes of limiting. We have the standard mode, and we have the soft clip mode, which is going to introduce a bit of harshness. This is what we used to often do with the glue compressor, which just had a soft clipper built in. This light starts flashing, and we are soft clipping the sound here. And then we also have a true peak mode, which is like an alternative to the standard mode. If you would like to make sure your audio does not exceed the threshold, then this is probably the best way to go. We have some other functions like linking between the channels, the left and right channels. And then we also have mid-side processing available. In general, these would be the main settings here. And I think the limiter is an absolutely great update. Of course, you wouldn't use it on a track that's already been mastered, but yeah, this is just an example of just some extreme limiting here. Okay, and the last update here is going to be the Saturator effect. Here we have just a bass sample. The Saturator is mostly just a refreshed user interface here, but they've also added a new mode here called the Bass Shaper. And this is like a blend between soft and hard clipping. And you can choose the threshold here. So this is going to change how this affects the sound. And yeah, you can see that these curves smooth out or are quite linear and harsh when we go to 0 dB with this threshold. And what we also have is like an EQ here. We can choose the low amount. And then we also have high amount here. So here we can really dial in the color of what we have. And then also in the wave shaper mode, all of the controls are right here. And yeah, I believe these are the unchanged controls. So the wave shaper now can also be used in really creative ways. Alright, I hope you found this video on Ableton Live 12.1 useful. Make sure to check out our Music Production Academy with lots of start to finish courses on making tracks in various genres. And if you'd like to learn Live 12 with all the foundations of music production, check out the Beginner to Advanced Live 12 Start to Finish course. Make sure to also check out the Everything bundle, which includes all of the courses, sound packs, and project files in our store. All links you will find in the video description. Make sure to subscribe to our channel and click the notification bell. If you enjoyed this video, leave us a like, write us a comment, and I will see you in the next ones.